Welcome to Bible Reader Companion. Our Bible reading this week is Luke chapters 2 through 13. Our memory verse this week is Luke chapter 6 and verse 31, in which Jesus says, "And just as you want men to do to you, you also do to them likewise." We mentioned the fact that we're going to talk about several aspects of how this applies, of how we treat others the way we want to be treated. I want to look at Luke chapter 6 and verses 27 and 28. Let's start there. "But I say to you who hear, love your enemies and do good to those who hate you. Bless those who curse you, and pray for those who spitefully use you." So I want us to think about this for a minute. How is it that we speak about other, and especially in this particular case, maybe those that we don't get along with, those that maybe we see as our enemies? He says, bless those who curse you. How should we use our tongues for those who are our enemies? How would we want them to use their tongues for us if we were on the other side? And pray for those who spitefully use you. Think about that for a moment. Using our tongue to bless and pray for those who mistreat us, those who treat us badly. How can we do that? By thinking about being in their position. Sometimes I think we immediately assume the worst about people, and we assume that people can't be different. We assume that they do the things that they do out of bad motives. Have you ever done something to someone and they have taken it in a way that was harmful or hurtful when that's not what you meant? That's not how you intended it? Now, in this case, Jesus is talking clearly about those who do hate us and those who want to hurt us. And yet, in spite of that, we are to bless them and pray for them. How do we get to a position where we can think about that, about how we speak of other people, that we think about our own thoughts and how we want to be treated when we use our tongues? I want you to drop down to verse 43 because there's something interesting here. Verse 43 beginning, he says, "For a good tree does not bear bad fruit, nor does a bad tree bear good fruit. For every tree is known by its own fruit. For men do not gather figs from thorns, nor do they gather grapes from a bramble bush. A good man out of the good treasures of his heart brings forth good, and an evil man out of the evil treasures of his heart brings forth evil. For out of the abundance of the heart, his mouth speaks." How do we change what we say about other people? How do we get it to where we can think about being in their shoes when we say something about them and we can use our mouth to bless them or to pray for them? Well, it comes down really to the heart of everything else that we do. It comes down to changing our hearts. The way that we become who we need to be is to change our hearts. Good tree bears good fruit, bad tree bears bad fruit. And that includes the things that we speak. I think it's interesting that out of the result of this, in talking about bearing fruit, the thing that he makes application to is that out of the abundance of his heart, his mouth speaks. One of the reasons I started with our speech this week is because, as we can tell from other passages, James chapter 3 and other places in the book of Proverbs, controlling the tongue and how we talk about other people, what we say about other people, can be very challenging. It can be hard to control our speech. It's so easy to have a quick reply, a hurtful reply, to immediately just spit something back out at someone, often with the intent to hurt. But if we stop and think about, how would I receive that? How would that help me? What if I were on the other side? And what is in my heart? Is that the kind of heart that I should have when I speak? Perhaps we can come closer to doing what Jesus says in Luke 6:31. "Just as you want men to do to you, you also do to them likewise." Thank you for thinking on these things, and we hope you'll join us again tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook for more content like this.